Welcome to the deep dive. Today, while we're digging into a really fascinating area, sparked by one of your questions, actually,
hmm
it's about this intersection of language, automation, and, human expression.
It really is quite a mix. I've got these source excerpts talking about, well, a potential natural speech language prayer machine on one hand,
Right, very tech focused.
and then reflections on something deeply human, the harmony of voices joined together in praise. It touches both tech and spirit.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of unpack these ideas. How might intelligent machines really understand and maybe even generate human-like expression, especially in contexts like prayer? And what does this whole thing tell us about our relationship with language and technology itself?
It's a compelling area. Where should we start? The machine concept.
Yeah, let's start there. This idea from Amnon Hakohen, the natural speech language prayer machine. Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. So the concept is for a machine, maybe for international personal use,
Yeah.
that uses a kind of symbolic natural language code. Think of it like a universal layer beneath different languages.
Okay.
And it operates within these wise computers, which aren't just crunching numbers. They have info wisdom.
Hmm.
That suggests, a capacity for applying knowledge in a more contextual way.
Info wisdom, interesting term. And it learns through speech.
That's the core idea. It learns language naturally just by hearing it, aiming to understand and respond at speeds natural to, well, human thought.
Wow. That's ambitious.
Extremely.
Yeah.
And it's not just for prayer, apparently. The text mentions it assisting other AIs or human operators, even in fields like MIDI instruments or manufacturing tech.
So a very versatile, responsive intelligence. The key seems to be that speed matching human thought.
Exactly. Obeying commands or responding almost instantaneously as fast as the operator thinks, though. It's this drive towards seamless integration.
Making technology feel less like a separate tool and more like an extension of us.
Precisely. Now, switching gears a little, there's this other piece, freckles in English, of the English language. Different feel altogether.
Yeah, this one talked about the sound, the actual sound of several guys and girls praising Elohim together. How pleasant that is.
hmm And it connects that pleasant sound, that harmony, to a spirit of unity. The idea is that this shared expression contributes to, like, collective happiness and joy.
It's less about the specific words, maybe, and more about the collective act.
That seems to be the suggestion, that the harmony itself builds connection, maybe even carries cultural truths through oral tradition, as the text hints. It values that shared human vocal element.
Then it contrasts this with symbolic logic, like this HI example, or written language, saying those might be better suited for machines, for electronic syntaxing.
Right. It draws a distinction, maybe suggesting that structured logic or written text is how machines think or process, whereas that shared vocal harmony is uniquely human, or at least the experience of it is.
And then we get these interesting examples, like singing a prayer in English, but using Hebrew text, like David Bashir Ladonai.
Yeah. Well, the Psalm of David. And then these other fragments, transliterations, Burch, Gaupishla, these Hebrew phrases like Pishe. It's almost like exploring how these core expressions of praise translate across different forms, spoken, written, maybe even coded.
Trying to bridge that gap between the human feeling and how it might be represented, perhaps even by a machine eventually.
Possibly. It's complex territory.
Okay, and finally, the selections in Hebrew. What's the main takeaway there?
Well, these seem to reflect on the power of human thought itself. The idea that we can actually conceive of and create technologies that, in certain specific ways, can outperform us.
Like surpassing our own limitations.
Exactly. We humans have physical constraints, right?
Mhm.
But technology doesn't necessarily have those same limits when it comes to things like, say, processing language really fast or complex calculations or even manufacturing.
So it's a reflection on our own ingenuity, the power of our minds to create something that extends beyond our own biological capabilities.
Precisely. It's about the potential inherent in thought itself,
Yeah.
manifesting in these intelligent machines.
So putting it all together, we have this grand vision for machines that truly get natural language, even for something as nuanced as prayer.
Yeah, this very ambitious technological goal.
And then, almost as a counterpoint, this reflection on the purely human side, the power of voices together, that shared harmony, and also our sheer ability to invent things that might even exceed us in some ways.
It's that tension, isn't it, between the drive to automate and understand everything, even deeply human expressions, and the recognition of what makes those expressions powerful for us as humans.
Definitely. Which leads us to, I guess, the final thought for you listening. As we keep building these incredibly sophisticated language technologies, what does that actually mean for the things we consider uniquely human? Our connections, our expression, maybe even our spirituality.
It's a big question. What happens to those spaces as technology steps further into them?
Something to keep thinking about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.